Greetings, everyone. I hope that you are doing well. And I want to say welcome. And as you come in, I hope that you find a seat at the table. So today we're going to be talking about facts for Freemasonry. Facts for Freemasonry. We're going to be looking at some things in regards to Freemasonry, what is and what isn't really true in regards to Freemasonry. So definitely come on in. I hope that you'll be able to chat in the chat line tonight. I'm looking forward to having what my brother name, brother Will Yance, to come on later today. If this beats him, he's certainly welcome to come in. So as you prepare yourself, get into the chat. We're going to talk about facts for Freemasons, and also we're going to throw in the Eastern Star. I can't leave out my sister. So we're going to have this great conversation today. And if you want to partake in this conversation, please do call in 619 2860642. Please call in. I think this is going to be a great conversation because this is some of the things that people have been asking in regards to Freemasonry. So I just want to get you in here today. And I just want to say this is not a real beer. This is what you call a ginger ale or ginger beer, So ginger beer, ginger beer, it's cold, man. It's cold. So I wouldn't do that on the show. I have respect for the organization for which I'm a part of. So definitely come on in, hit the up button. If you can hear me, please, I like to see some chat in the chat so I can see, because I'm not really seeing who's on or not. But definitely, if you can hit it in the chat and hit the like button, I certainly would appreciate it. It really helps with the algorithms of YouTube and what they try to do with various YouTube channels. So definitely come on in, have a seat at the table, and grab your bite to eat, sit back and relax. And I'd like to see you chat in the chat room, because I believe this is going to be the thing that a lot of people will want to hear, want to know about in regards to Freemasonry. Some things that are factual, not something that you hear so much about Freemasons and different things that are coming and it's being said about those who are not even Masons, and for those who become Masons and quit, they throw their own little twist in there too, and it's not necessarily true. Let me tell you, I can actually say that it's full of a lot of BS. The things that you hear, it's not true. Ginger is strong, man. Ginger is strong. But so we're going to really get into it. We're going to look at where did Freemasonry actually come from, or the origin of Freemasonry. From what group or organization are the symbols used in Freemasonry? Where did they come from? We're going to also talk about where were the ancient mysteries taught. We're going to touch on quite a few different subjects today. So if you can get into the chat, that'll be great. What are the mysteries of Freemasonry? Who and where the cathedral buildings? Those who actually did the buildings. Okay, who were the Rosicrucians? We're going to talk about the Rosicrucians also. From what particular country are our Masonic symbols come from? What particular country did they come from? What were the principles and objectives of the Rosicrucians? So we're going to talk about the Rosicrucians. We're going to talk about Freemasonry. We're going to really have a good time. What are the seven ancient wonders of the world? So we're going to really get into this thing and see how Freemasons fit around all of this, and really just indulge ourselves. I think it's something that we really need to take a look at, and as we go into Freemasonry, where is the temple of Karnak, Karnak? Did I say Karnak or Karnak? Something, that last word, Karnak. All right. So we're going to talk about some things that are very interesting within Freemasonry. Of what we're going to talk about the Templars too. Let's talk about the Knights of Templars also. So this is going to be some student night. We're going to have a great conversation with a lot of involvement in Freemasonry and things like that. And I think that it definitely will strike a nerve. It'll definitely help you along the way. If you have questions in regards to Freemasonry, just some of the tidbits things. So as you come into the chat room, I certainly would appreciate it. Looking forward to hearing from you. Participant, boom. Where did you go? Did I just lose my participants? Oh, shucks. If you're in the chat room, let me see you throw in some chat. If you're in the chat room, back. Change you made are not saved. Cancel. Oh, man. Well, anyway, we're going to have fun tonight. Excuse me just for a second. I want to grab some. I'll be right back. I'm back. I had to go and get my tablet here because I can't see anything in the chat, so I won't be able to answer your questions. So let me see if I can just load up real quick, get into the chat, and just kind of see what's happening here. So I want to welcome everybody aboard. Greetings to you, blessings to you and your family. I would say, we really have to consider what a lot of people are going through in today's society. So please take due note. And I want to send your family a blessings, because there's so much that are happening around and about. I get people sending me emails all the time. Whatever you do, please do not send me any more emails with killings. I don't want to see any more emails with killings. Philadelphia, you're out off the chain. No more emails in regards to people being killed. Who got killed? It's just too much really happening. So if you can back up off that, I certainly would appreciate it. It would be truly a blessing. I kid you not. Oh man, if I can get into this tablet, that'd be great. Let me try something else. Please hold on just a second for me. I'm trying to get some things happening real quick here, okay? Okay, I'm back. So welcome again. I'm sorry about that. I'm just really trying to see what's going on and why I can't see anything in the chat tonight. I have no clue. I don't need a new tab. Your channel. Switch accounts. No, don't want to do that. I just need to kind of find out what's happening in the chat. Please bear with me as we go into these topics tonight. Quite sure you're going to get a kick out of it. So, with that being said, your thoughts. I would like to know your thoughts before I get into my own thing in regards to Freemasonry. Hey, Mr. James, how you doing? Carnock? You sure it's pronounced Carnock? C-A-R-N-A? Take a look at that, bro. Mr. James, I'm going to take a look at it. Also, Mr. James, definitely, I owe you an apology. I want to make it a public apology because what I said was done in public. So therefore, my apology should be in public. A few weeks back on my visit to Florida, I came on for a little while and I talked about the shrine. And you came in at I was kind of heated. You came in and you said something kind of like, and you know what? I said something to you I shouldn't have said in regards to just having a little bit more respect. So with that being said, just as I said the words in public, I owe you a public apology, because to me, that's not how I should carry myself toward another black man and brother, period. That's me. Although we get heated. We get heated, but I owe you that. So, I'm kind of doing a couple of things as you see me kind of peek down. I'm kind of looking at a couple of things here as I stroll up because I cannot see the chat. See if I edit it. Nope. Cancel that. Just don't see it. But anyway, welcome everybody. So I'm back. What's up going on, Foster? How you doing, man? Appreciate you coming in. All right, Marcus Lee, thank you. Reginald Humphreys, I appreciate you. Brother Lewis, we can hear you. I'm glad you can hear me because I'm looking down at my phone and looking back up at the screen. I can't see the chat. I can't see the live chat for some reason or another, but that's okay. So we're gonna get right into this. Okay, so where did Masonry originate? We've heard so many. I'm talking about, I want to factually speaking, where did Freemasonry originate from? Now, I have a book that is called Facts About Freemasonry, or Facts of Freemasonry. It's a really good book. It goes in depth on a lot of factual things in regards to Freemasonry. And here's what this particular book says. It says that no one knows. It has believed to have had its roots beyond the historical records, like religion, to have evolved, possibly by the way of Egyptian mysteries, down to modern times. Through various organizations, we know that many of the symbols come from a group or organization of medieval times. See, this is what gets me. When they say that we know that many of the symbols come from a group or organization of medieval times, that's true, but what they left out was that we know that those medieval times that they talk about was on the continent of what we call now Africa, which we know is the incorrect name. We know that now. So we have to go back and say, okay, we know distinctively that the origin and symbolism that Freemasonry uses come from the continent of Africa. Now, if anybody else think that is not true, I'd like to hear from you. You can hit us up at 619 286 0642. I'm going to put that right here, 619 286 0642. If you want to call us tonight in regards to anything that we're saying here that you believe is not to be actually fact, hit us up. We can have that conversation. So what I'm telling you is, although they're saying that no one knows, which is a fact, no one does know, it is believed to have its roots beyond historical record. So they're saying that Freemasonry roots is beyond historical record. Where else can you find records that predates everything else? I mean, really, if you're going to really look at this for what it is. And to me, what I find is that I see the continent clearly in view of what they're saying. That is me. That is based upon other things that I've read and I find to believe based upon checking those references. And I believe that when we do our research, I believe that when we go in search of, we all should check references. We should do that. And then you come to your own conclusion based upon that which you have researched, based on references, based on a whole lot of other information in your research. And then you come to your own conclusion. And then we can agree to disagree based on the information we have. But when I'm reading here, where they talk about and says that like a religion to have evolved, possibly by way of Egyptian mysteries, down to modern time through various organizations, We do know that many of the symbols come from a group of organization of medieval times. I just believe they should have been more direct and said from the continent of Africa, because this is where you find all symbolism based upon my own research. Greetings, everybody. But shout out at the love from, hey, big shout out North Side. North Side View, Texas. Big shout out to you if you're in Texas. Depends on if you're in Houston, Texas. I'll be rolling through there pretty soon. But big shout out to you. Appreciate you coming in tonight. KMA, Man of Earth. Greetings. How are you holding up tonight? Glad to have you aboard. So let's see what we got here. Greetings from brothers and sisters. Been working so much, haven't had time to log in. Curtis, I'm glad that you was able to log in and glad to have you among us. Okay, so we touched upon where did masonry originate from. Okay, now with that being said, if you want to call in, you can be part of this great conversation. Now, with that being said, let's look at from what group or organization are the symbols used in Freemasonry believed to have been derived from. Where did that come from? Once again, from what group or organization are the symbols used in Freemasonry believed to have where they believe to have come from? All right. What are your thoughts on that? Because I have a mixed opinion about that. What are your thoughts on that? Greetings, everybody. Greetings. So come on, get some of this conversation tonight. You know. Now, according to what I've read, and I'm only going about what I know. Now, that can change based on other information that may come through. That can absolutely change. Am I getting any glitches in the system at all? It seems that I'm looking at, and it seems like I'm having some glitches. I'm not really for sure. Just want to take some of this stuff out. Maybe, I don't know. But anyway, just let me know. I appreciate it. All right, I appreciate that. You saying I'm good. As long as you say I'm good, I'm going to keep it where it's at. So with that being said, as we proceed into today's topics, facts for Freemasons or facts for Freemasonry, what we're talking about now is from what group or organization are the symbols used in Freemasonry? Where did they come from? From what group or organization are the symbols that we use today in Freemasonry? Where did they come from? I'd love to hear from somebody. Now, I'm going to tell you what I know. It is said that the Roman college, okay, that the Roman college, it says that the Roman college of the ancient mysteries and builders, the Rosicrucians and the stone or operative masons, that's where the symbols come from. But like I said for myself, based upon my own readings and what I've come across, I'm always going back to the continent, the mother of civilization. That's for me. Now, like I said before, you can come up with your own conclusion, but everything that I've read for myself takes me back to the continent. That's where it takes me to. So when I read about, when I have other books and I read what other individual has written, and they go all around the world, but they never mention the continent, it tells me that the information they have is coming, it's something that needs to have a follow-up done on it. It needs to have a follow-up. And this is my follow-up. You know, it says from a Roman college. What is a Roman college? What is a Roman college? Because before there was a Roman college, there was a schools of mysteries. And the only reason they called them schools of mysteries is because it was a mystery to those who wasn't in the school. That's it. That's the only reason that we give it that name. Now, until you are in that school, it's no longer a mystery to you because you're being taught those things that are in that particular school of knowledge. I believe the Romans got it from Africa. I actually believe that too. That is my own opinion. I really believe that the Romans have gotten a lot of information from us through that. But, I mean, it's where it's at. And I think we should seriously take a look at the continent and all of the information that it holds. And like I told you some time ago, the first Grand Lodge that I can consider to be a Grand Lodge is the Grand Lodge of Lux. That's me. What's your opinion? I like to hear other people's opinion. I'm not going to always be right, but what I try to do is bring forth information so we can have a good conversation and a dialogue. What we got here? Peace. What's going on, Martin? I hope everything is going well with you. So it says that it came from the College of Rome. Okay, the Roman College. I just disagree with that. And the reason I disagree with that is because there's so much more information that predates Rome. It's just what it is. All right. Let's see. Who were the ancient mysteries? Okay, who were the ancient mysteries? It says that there were several societies, religious in character, who taught moralities by symbolism. Okay, the Durants, who were a secret order in England and France, or then the Gauls. Their ceremonies were symbolic and were divided into three orders. Okay, but with that being said, Christianity today has its own initiation, its own rites within the initiation. It does. If you really take a look at it for what it is. But how many of us can see that Christianity has its own initiation rite? It really, really does. As much as people want to say things in regards to it, I would tell you this. Christianity has an initiation rite. It's a fact. What we got? What's up, Brother Jackson? How you doing? I'm glad to have you aboard today. As you get into the chat, I appreciate you. Thank you, and I'm glad to see that you're getting healthy, Brother Jackson. I don't know all the details, but just to know that you're on tonight does my heart good. I know that you are in recovery. I want to send blessings to you and your family as you get better. Peace and be well. North Side View, where the information I'm gathering now, I'm going to bring to my table, and we're going to talk about it Monday, and then I can get back with you. Okay, you do that. You gather that information, and when you have sorted through your information, definitely come back and let's have that conversation, because what I'm giving you now is facts for Freemasonry. Okay. Based upon information I have, and I would like for anybody to go back and do their own research based upon what I said, and then, hey, brother, that's wrong, that's right, okay, I can take that or leave it alone. That's where I'm at. It says that, like I said, several societies, religious in character, who taught morality by symbols. It says the Durants were a secret society in England and France, or then the Gauls. Their ceremonies were symbolic and were divided into three orders. And I would say this, most organizations, for the most part, that has a symbolic or an initiation, divides their rites into three different orders. They do. AA has a rites of passage. Christianity has a rites of passage. It doesn't matter what church you go through, there is a rites of passage within that organization. Just as in the Freemasons, just as in the Rosicrucians, there is a rites of passage. But when you speak of Freemasonry, the Rosicrucians, and those so-called secret societies, their rites of passage is really based upon symbolism. It is not to be dogmatic about things, but it's to teach you in regards to taking those things and applying those very things to what you know in life. Greetings. All right. That person, nope, didn't want to talk to me about anything. So, once again, greetings as you come in. I appreciate it. Where we're at. Thank you and peace. I understand, brother. I love it. Oh, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. So as we begin to journey into Freemasonry and into various organizations, any Greek organization has a rite of passage. As I've said, any of your religious organization, any of your churches, all of your churches, when you become a member of them, have what they call a rite of passage. If you don't believe me, pay attention. Pay attention when you go to church. There is a rite of passage when you join a particular church. It is. Just based upon pure observation or just sitting back and watching as the minister to the congregation. And each person who wants to be a member of that church come forth and take on the responsibilities, take on the oath of their church, the office of their church. They get involved with their church. There is a rite of passage when you do that. Some churches baptize in the name of Jesus. Some churches sprinkle. Some churches say if you don't speak in tongue, you're not fully submerged. There are so many different rites of passages within religion or Christianity, because there's over 600 different religions. It's over 600. So you mean to tell me that Christianity is the only one that has the right way to the Creator? So as we talk about symbolism in the ancient mysteries, all of them, every last one of them can go right back to the continent. Every last one of them. This is called Facts for Freemasons. Every last one of them can go right back to the continent. All right. So what are the mysteries or merits? What are the mysteries of merits? Have you ever heard of that? Because as I was reading, I was like, I'd never heard of it. What are the mysteries of merits? It is something that I'm really not familiar with, but it was also an organization. They were part of the ancient mysteries. Okay, merits was a worship as a god of light in Paris. In Paris. And is supposed to have instituted those mysteries and initiation to the principles of religion, which has been founded among the ancient Persians. I mean, it all goes back. If you look at it for what it is, it all goes back. When you talk about different ancient mysteries, it all goes back. Greetings, everybody who's coming on. Let me see. Even when you get a job, you have to go through a bunch of things before you can actually get to the job. Signing the papers, saying you will be confidential as you work at your job. Absolutely. And this is the uniqueness that I find within Freemasonry. And I talk about that because within Freemasonry, the construct of Freemasonry, what I found is, although we talk about the obligations that we take, I'm finding that each obligations in various jurisdictions, they differ from jurisdiction to jurisdiction. There are some core aspects within the obligations that we take. However, there are some additions to some obligations that is not in mine. I can actually say that. I have a ritual from England, and the obligation I take as a Mason is not there are some things that are missing in my obligation versus their obligation. It is not identical. And I can actually say that the obligation I took as a Mason versus the obligation I have in the England Masonic ritual is different. It's truth. It's an obligation to the Masonic order, but it's different. So I know a lot of Masons like say I took the same obligation as you, but that's not necessarily true. You took an obligation, true enough, within your jurisdiction, true enough, but there may be some differences, and that's a fact. From what particular country, or from what particular country are the Masonic symbols come from? From what particular country, it says. But it's not a continent. It's not a country. It's a continent. Okay? It is not a country. It is a continent. From Egypt, the land of the from the it says from Egypt, the land of science and in physics, math, arithmetic, tombs and temples, the land whose civilization was older is older than any nation since called to empire and had a name. It finally tells you Egypt. But it goes beyond Egypt. I believe that it's the continent itself. Because the same pyramids you find in over in Egypt or over on the continent, you could find those same pyramids over in China. You could find those same pyramids in South America. You could say that you could find some of the same hieroglyphs on temples down in South America that you would find over in China, over in Africa, and various other places on this earth. That is a fact. Here in the United States, there are some places in the Grand Canyon you can't go, and they have found hieroglyphs there. They have found them, and there are places that they're not going to let you go. So what you think about that? I don't think Masonry started in Europe, but I could be wrong. Oh, you are absolutely correct. It did not start there. It didn't. It did not start there. So I had said that we was going to talk about the Rosicrucians. And so we're going to talk about the Rosicrucians. Who were or who are the Rosicrucians? To say who were means that they no longer exist. But to say who are lets you know that the Rosicrucians are still in existence. They still practice whatever they practice. And I could say from my own experience in visiting the Rosicrucians temple up in Sacramento, it's a beautiful temple, and they practice what they practice, and they are very active. And that's the truth. You would think that an organization such as the Rosicrucians, they fly up under the radar. They do, but they're a very active organization. So let's look at who are the Rosicrucians versus who were they. All right, those who in the 17th and early part of the 18th century claimed to belong to a secret society, to have knowledge of giving them mystical and magical powers. Those are the Rosicrucians. They deal in mystical and magical powers. And I say that only because, look, if you are a reader of the scriptures, the King James Version of the Bible, when I say scriptures, okay? And you look at Moses, and that the mere fact that Moses came up in the school of Pharaoh, where they dealt in magic. It's a fact. Pharaoh in his schools dealt in magic. And let me tell you this. So after Moses had went into the wilderness, done his thing, and after he came back to talk to Pharaoh about letting his people go, you know as well as I know, he laid down his rod, it became a snake, and Pharaoh said, oh, wait a minute. He called upon his magicians or his guys, they laid down their rods, they became snakes also. So he was, even though he went to see God on the mountain, it was plain to see that they dealt in magic. It's true. Go look for it yourself. If you don't believe me, just go check it out for yourself. And you'll be amazed at what you find. They dealt in magic. Greetings, everybody. Brother Hawkins, speaking of origin, Where do you think Freemasonry got this negative illuminated stigma attached to it? I know there was Illuminati Masons Lodge set up in the early days of America. Yes. Okay. So you're absolutely right. You got to look at the word Illuminati, illuminated, means one of light, one of knowledge. So you are right in regards to in the earlier days of Freemasonry here in the United States, there was an Illuminati lodge, and they had their own thing going. And even though that lodge was expelled, it had penetrated Freemasonry in such a way to it had an influence in Freemasonry, although that lodge was no longer part of Freemasonry. So as things progressed, as time went on, as said earlier, things evolved. That that stigma stayed with Freemasonry. So now, in some years ago, when people thought of Freemason, they thought of the Illuminati. Oh, the Illuminati. No, no, no. That's a whole nother thing. That's a whole nother conversation. You know, does the Illuminati exist? I think there's a whole lot of things that exist. Is that one of them? Hmm. You know what? There's that strong possibility that the Illuminati does exist. Although within the entertainment world they say you sell your soul, you go through this, you go through that. That's a whole nother spectrum outside of the scope of Freemasonry. I'm going based upon my own travels, my own conversation with various Masons from around the country and places I've gone. I mean, you're going to always find a Masons in various aspects of this of in society. You're going to always find a Freemason or several within the aspect of society, be it from a barber, be it a teacher or lawyer, a police officer, a congressman, a senator, a governor, a mayor, a councilman, an alderman. You're going to find Freemasons in all facets of work, whether it's a doctor, whether it's a nurse, whether it's a housekeeper, whether it is someone who work in the kitchens or McDonald's or wherever. You're going to always find a Freemason. I would even say an Eastern Star in those various facets of society. It is just that way. However, once upon a time, we all know that in order to be a Freemason, in order to be an Eastern Star, you had to have something going on about yourself. The average person just could not be a Freemason. And if you look at those brothers of the craft over in the Philippines, they tell you right now, the average person is not a Freemason over there. There's about 3 or 4 different grand lodges over in the Philippines. But in the Philippines, Masonry or the Masons are held high. I mean, they hold positions in law enforcement, they hold positions in government. I mean to tell you that it is just a different beast over in the Philippines when it comes to Freemasons. So this is why a lot of brothers, when they come here to America, Filipino brothers, they join the Masonic order because they know when they go back home to the Philippines, they notice it's different. It is just different. Let's see what else is in here today. Rosicrucians have teachings of both light and dark magic. Their books on magic even details how to identify the different demonic spirits and how to properly identify and exorcise them from a high priest. Really? That I did not know. That I did not know. I appreciate you sharing that with me. I did not know that. I have to look on my phone for my chat because I don't see it here. So that's quite interesting when you talk about the Rosicrucians. As we begin to get into some of the facts about Freemasons, that itself is definitely interesting because that I did not know, and I appreciate you sharing that with me. I have visited the pyramids, and let's see. What do you say? I have visited the pyramids in 5 countries now. They all have many similarities. Absolutely. That's why I was saying earlier in regards to the pyramids and symbolism and the hieroglyphics on the pyramids. They're all similar, and it's something special about them because they all line up around the world for some reason or another. These pyramids, these, they all line up. That's the only thing I can say is that they all line up. Greetings, everybody who's on. If I didn't get a chance to send you a shout out, I definitely want to send you a shout out from your various jurisdiction. Whether you're in Texas, big shout out. Whether you're in Alabama, Mississippi, or Georgia, big shout out to you. So, as we get into this chat tonight, I just want to say, first of all, I appreciate you tuning in and come on in and let's have this conversation in regards to facts regarding Freemasonry. All right. So, when we talk about Freemasonry, that all-seeing eye, we've heard so much about the all-seeing eye. Where did this all-seeing eye originate from? Where did it originate from? I'm talking about facts versus somebody saying, well, no. Where did the original concept of the all-seeing eye come from? Anybody want to put some in the chat? If you want to call in tonight, you're certainly welcome to do so. That number is 619-286-0642. I thought sure that my man Willie Yance would be calling in tonight because I had a conversation with him and definitely invited him to come on. Maybe he got busy. And maybe I should have called him and reminded him. Maybe. So what about this thing we call the all-seeing eye? Where did it come from? Let me see what you got in the chat tonight. Many prerequisites just got initiated into the lodge in the Philippines. Oh, well, welcome aboard. What's going on? I'll tell you what. Call in if you can, bro. Manny Pacquiao just got initiated into the Philippines. Do you know what Grand Lodge he was initiated in? Because, like I said earlier, there are like 5 different Grand Lodges over in the Philippines. One of the Grand Lodges was organized by the California Grand Lodge. Another Grand Lodge broke off from that. And then there's it's just a few, 5 of them over there. So, but hey, more power to them. And Manny Pacquiao just became a Mason. Oh my. The pyramids are built on top of another pyramid under which they have zero historical knowledge about. But you can see the ancient stones and the foundation. Really? Pyramids built on top of pyramids? That's interesting. Now, here's what I do know. And I don't mind anybody chatting in there. I do know that the high priest at one time, before they became high priests, they had to be initiated. So the initiation took place within the pyramids because the pyramid had many different corridors and they had to work their way within the corridors. Now, if you are familiar within Freemasonry, we have a saying, work your way in. So with that, I find that that's interesting because in the initiation before the high priest or those who was going to become high priests, they went through a particular initiation rites within the pyramids. The all-seeing eye seems to be a symbolic of the pineal gland in its function. That's one idea. You got another one? I've heard that one. But I've also heard that it dealt with Osiris. Because that's where the one concept of one God overlooking mankind. I've read that one too. So my thing would be, how would you break that down? Because we know that the pineal, how did the brother say that? The pineal gland, what we call the third eye. For some, that is what's the word I'm looking for? When it becomes hard, think of the name of it right now. Calcified. There you go. That's the word I'm looking for. For some people, it's too hard. I mean, they can't crack that. And for some who are able to meditate and open up that third eye, more power to them. A lot of people can't do that. A lot of people can't do it. Let me see. I have another question for you also. What Egyptian king enforced the worship of the solar disk upon his subjects? Do anybody know that one? What Egyptian king enforced the worship of a solar disk upon his subjects? That's a good one for you to think about. The all-seeing eye. Calcification. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Calcification. Some people don't know. There are some herbs I've been told. I haven't taken them. I don't know, that can help what's the word I'm looking for? Calcify your pineal glands. And I've heard that. Someone can back me up in the chat if they choose to. I appreciate it. Greetings, Charles. He said, "What am I missing?" Well, tonight's conversation, Charles, is basically dealing with some facts in regards to Freemasonry. Some things that, where did it originate from? Where did the all-seeing eye come from? We talked about the high priest who got initiated into the order of high priest, having to go through the pyramids because of the various corridors. You can even look at when Moses set up camp at the foot of Mount Moriah, and when the high priest went into the encampment, when the high priest went into the encampment to where the Ark of the Covenant was at, that he had around him a rope, okay, and he had bells. The bells, as he walked around, because he had to be a one who was unblemished, okay, and as the high priest walked in, he had the incense and the frankincense and various things to offer up a glorious aroma to God. But if he was found to be that which was unrighteous, he died at an instant. So everybody wasn't able to go into the holies of holies, which was in the encampment. So as the high priest went in, and if he was found not to be righteous and he dropped as he went in and died, they knew that he passed away because the bells that was around him did not ring anymore. And they pulled him right on out. That's read about it. It's in the Old Testament. What was the design of the Sphinx? What was that design? What was the design of the Sphinx? We know now, as they've dug deeper and deeper into the motherland, the continent, and as they dug, because at one time they could not see the full body of the Sphinx at all. They only could see up to the head, okay? And during World War II, if I'm not mistaken, the Americans at that time were shooting off the nose of the Sphinx because it looked too much like the black man. And the more they dug over there, the more they understood this is all they found. Big nose, big lips, big ears. And they would shoot the nose off of the Sphinx with cannons. That's truth. This is why when you look at some of the Sphinx, their nose, it seemed like it fell off because they shot it off with cannons. The more they dug, the more they discovered who we were. So when you talk about the Sphinx, It says a monster having a lion's body of wings and the head and bust of a woman. Think about that. They said the Sphinx having a lion's body, wings, and the head and the bust of a woman. You know? And then it says, of what especially interest is in the temple to the Masons. It is to construct with a rare unity of design, testifying to the creativity of the system and cooperation. Within Freemasonry and within the Sphinx, as I said before, there was a lot taking place. So if you look at the Sphinx, you see the Sphinx having a lion's body, wings, and the head and the bust of a woman. When you consider Freemasonry, it brings together and it unifies man, period. And I'm going to say women too, because there are women Masons. Stop kidding yourself. There are women Masons. So, yeah, there are women Masons. So, as we begin to grow, we come to find out these things. It's shocking to a lot of people to find out there are women Masons, I tell you. But with that being said, and as we begin to look at some of these things that are factual in regards to Freemasonry, it just lets you know how broad and universal Freemasonry really is. That's what I find for myself. It is not that it's just locked in this small little box and you are like, yeah, okay, I got it now. No, Freemasonry is just too big for that. That's what I find. When you think of the universe, and when I consider Freemasonry being universal, although I may practice a little different here, but when I go other places, I find that the practice is very similar to what I've gone through in my initiation rites and what I do right now. There may be additions, but it's very, very similar. Very similar. If you go down to South America and if you're a Freemason, the way they grip you there is different than the way you get gripped here in the United States. That's a fact. You go, I'm 15 minutes from Mexico. When you cross that border, you go farther down to Mexico, south of the border. The way you come across Freemasons down there, they grip you differently. They just do. It's their custom and how they grip you. They take things a little bit more serious down there also, especially when they find out you're a Mason. Things change. Things get to be a little bit more serious than it is here in the United States. You're talking about keeping an obligation and doing some of the things that you say you would and would not do. Those things become more serious in various countries when you go. Here in the United States, when you talk about the oath and obligation and the penalties of Freemasonry that we take, it is more symbolic than anything else. But as you get outside of this country, you will find for your own self, it gets to be a little bit more stickier. It gets to be sticky, for a lack of a better word. It really does. It changes up a little bit. The Rosicrucians Research Library on display. I had the opportunity to visit the Rosicrucian Temple, and they will not allow you to take any pictures in the temple. I've said that before. It's a beautiful temple, and if you ever find yourself in Northern California, please go by and visit the Rosicrucian Temple. They have pyramids everywhere on the grounds of that temple, and when you go in, they tell you no taking pictures, please. And if they find that you're taking pictures, they will escort you out. And yes, you can go to the library, you can sit and read books, and you can go into the main auditorium and look around. And they have a lot of things that are from the continent of Africa that represents, I hate using Egypt as the only place, but a lot of Egyptian artifacts and things like that. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. A woman cannot be a Mason. It doesn't matter what they say they are. Women cannot be a Mason. Well, I tell you what. Here's what I know versus what you say they can't be. They are. You say, I know why you're probably saying why they can't be. But I'm going to have to do a Zoom in regards to that for Masons only, because this is going to be a little deep. When you get really deep into it, it will surprise you. It will really surprise you. It's a great conversation piece. Apple cider vinegar helps to, really? Apple cider and vinegar helps to decalcify? I didn't know that. I'm going to have, man, that is something to know. So for those of us with the third eye, the pineal glands, we know that drinking some of this water and whatever else is going on around us can make it hard, So to declassify, not classify, that's the wrong word. She might have to go back and see. To decalcify the pineal gland. The brother said, was it a brother or sister? I believe that's a brother. Said apple cider vinegar helps with the calcifying. Try it. I'm glad I know now. I got some apple cider and vinegar in there too. I'm quite sure you have to add water in it. You just don't want to drink that like that. I'm quite sure you want to add water to that. All right, what else we got in here? Big shout out, Light Traveler. What's going on with you? Look, I'm gonna send out a formal invitation right now. If you are interested in coming to California to join us for our annual grand session to be held in October, from October the 14th through the 17th. Personal invitation right now you're getting. That if you want to shoot through, if you're a sister of the Order of the Eastern Star and you want to come through the visit, let me know. If you are a brother of the craft and want to join us for our grand session, let me know. I'm going to put in an email right here. Let's see. That's the wrong email. I'm sorry. That is the wrong email. Nope. Wrong email. Here you go. Put in the email address right here. There you go. Okay. You have the correct email. Hit me at that email if you're interested in joining us for our annual grand session to be held in Los Angeles. And this is going to be October the 14th through the 17th. I'm looking at, it's very educational. We do have little social events, but we don't throw a big party at all. This is more educational. This is more serious. I think, based upon my time here in this jurisdiction, we do have a good time, but we really want to dive into Freemasonry in the Order of the Eastern Star. I believe that if you join us, you'll get a kick out of it. You're going to learn something, and this is what we do. At our session, we also have what you call a School of Instructions. So I really believe that if you join us, you're going to get a kick out of it. You're going to learn something. So if you're interested in joining us for our annual grand session, you're certainly welcome to do so. Just shoot me an email and what jurisdiction you're a part of, and we can move on forward from there. All right, appreciate it. Greetings. What's going on, Brother Victor? How you doing? Appreciate you coming on. Female Freemason would be another show. Yeah, I definitely love to do that. As a matter of fact, I spoke with the Grand Matron, the Grand Master of Female Freemasons here in California. I've been trying to get her to come on, but right now her schedule is not allowing her to come on, but I'm going to get her. I'm going to have her to come on. I think that'll be great. That'll make for a great conversation piece. So look, we're right upon an hour. I hope, as always, that you've gotten something from this particular show. Some things I've shared with you. I want you to go back and check it out for yourself. And I believe that it's interesting. Freemasonry is a beautiful thing. It's very interesting. It's very intriguing. It really opens you up to make you really look at things from a different point of view. It is not one of those organizations that says, look, it's either this way or no way. This is the uniqueness that I enjoy about Freemasonry. Like I said, for myself, being in this jurisdiction for as long as I have, the brotherhood that I've experienced as long as I have, and it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So, as we proceed in Freemasonry, I'm quite sure that even in your journey, if you're looking to become a Mason, if you're looking to become an Eastern Star, continue that journey. And if I can be of any help to you, let me know. I'll see what I can do for you from the state of California. So with that being said, as we log off today, I want to bid you a farewell and greetings to you and your jurisdiction. God bless you. And as I say always, whatever you do, the higher we climb, the clearer the vision. Stay out the bushes and definitely keep your light on. I'm out.